Hello and welcome to Never Miss a Monday. I am your host, Stacey Garcia, and I cannot wait to kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month with someone instrumental in the cancer community, Miss Susan Holland. Susan joined the Cancer Schmancer team in July of 2008 as a special events coordinator. She volunteered with the organization at its inception due to losing her father and many friends to cancer. She shifted from events and marketing into her present position as executive director. She is a health advocate in her own right and has a passion for developing relationships and connecting people through through moments that entertain and make a difference in health across the board. Before joining Cancer Schmancer, Susan executive produced a travel series with her former husband. She holds a degree in fashion merchandising and business and specializes in fashion buying, media sales, public relations, and event production. She is a proud mother of 2 daughters and is a dedicated martial artist and spin cyclist. Welcome to the show, Susan. So happy to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be on. Happy to be connected
Thank
through
you.
friends, which is always
The best.
the most organic way. Yeah.
It is the most organic way. And I was introduced to you, I guess, a couple of years ago through our dear friends, Greg Garfield and AJ Johnson. And how long have you known AJ? You guys seem
Well,
like soul sisters to me.
We are. And you're going to meet the only one that doesn't call her AJ.
Oh,
I refuse.
what do you call her?
She's Annalisa.
Oh, I love.
She's Annalisa. Annalisa and I met 18 years ago at the gym, of course. And she became an immediate sister. We worked out together. I had just finished writing a journal after my divorce and raising 2 daughters, single since they were 7 and 11.
Wow.
And we didn't know each other well yet, but I think I was an amazing listening board for her because I didn't know her well yet. So the objective, devil's advocate opinions, my advice to her, as opposed to her nearest and dearest, was very, very strongly felt. We talk about this to this day. And ever since then, we were just, she's one of my nearest and dearest. We call ourselves Thelma and Louise.
Oh,
I just spent
it.
the weekend with her for her birthday. So
That's amazing.
yes, and
what
she
divine timing of a
I
friendship.
I know. It was very much an interesting time in Agora when I used to work out with her, and my fiance also just died from pancreatic cancer. It's a
What?
very interesting time. Yeah,
Oh,
I've got a
wow.
lot. Yeah. So, and I was well into Cancer Schmancer at that time. But so we met, I think, I want to say 2009, 2007. I don't know.
It's
We
been
can't
a long
remember. It's been
time.
forever. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. Well, goodness, you've given me already so much. I'm like, I think we're going to have a part 2 at some point, Susan, to get through your amazing stories. Well, let's talk about Cancer Schmancer. I would love to dig right into that since we are honoring a beautiful month of breast cancer awareness. So for those listening that are unfamiliar with your work and with Cancer Schmancer, can you please describe the mission behind the organization?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm going to back up by telling you that Fran Drescher has been my dear, dear friend since I'm 18 years of age.
Wow. Well,
So
can you
being
tell
with
me how you
Fran,
met her?
being with Fran, yes, I could share how. So we share our best friend, and her name is Judy. And Judy used to work for me when we had a huge shoe, clothing, accessory, men's and women's store in the Valley back in the day. And it was an expensive, beautiful 20,000 square foot, elegant shopping store. If you lived in California, LA, or the Valley, everyone shopped there and everyone knew
What
it.
was it called?
The Shoe and Clothing Connections.
Okay.
First in Woodland Hills, then in Encino.
Okay.
So Judy ran she was an assistant manager in our shoe department. I was the head buyer and the GM of the entire store. And we were great friends. Judy was dating a man at the time that was an actor, and he brought her to a party. And the party that he brought her to was where she met Peter and Fran when they first moved out here from New York. And it ends up that the relationship with Judy's boyfriend didn't work out, but she got to keep Fran and Peter from that party forever.
Mm.
So with that said, she said, you got to come shop in my store. So Fran came in and shopped at our store, met me, and we were friends ever since.
Mm.
Backyard parties, birthdays, soirees, breakfasts, lunch, like just, and we stayed in touch until, we went in very different directions, but always stayed in communication, and we always saw each other on certain occasions through Judy and our friends. And then she became the nanny, and I would visit as much as possible and go on set, and and I had babies, moved out to Calabasas from being close to her in West Hollywood, so life happens. And then it brought us back in a much bigger way, in a very, very big way. So
Yes.
Cancer Schmancer, for me, it started, Fran wrote a New York Times bestseller. She's a uterine cancer survivor, which September happens to be Gynecological Cancer Awareness Month. And so being a uterine cancer survivor, her healing journey was writing a book. Book was called Cancer Schmancer, meaning cancer's not the boss of me, right? And when she went on her book tour, she kind of came back saying, oh my God, what happened to me? It has happened to so many people. And her story really starts out being very frustrated because it took her 2 years and 8 doctors before she got a proper diagnosis. So that was really the nucleus of what are we going to do about that, right?
Right.
In 2005, I separated from my husband and took a year off of everything. And, as women, we're always reinventing ourselves.
Yes.
And we have to look back as it was an opportunity to, okay, feel all the feelings that are not always great, but to, wipe yourself off, put your clothes back on, feel your feelings, but what you're going to do next? Like, take this away and see what good came out of it, because there's always something good that comes out of, something not so good. And so in reinvention mode, actually in 2007 is when Cancer Schmancer was founded. And as I was thinking, who are my single friends nearby? She was really the only one nearby in Malibu single. So we were doing a lot together with our friends. And she said, I need to start a foundation, and I need to launch a nonprofit. And, what are you doing? And at the time, there was a lovely woman named Shika, who I still love and speak to this day, that was the executive director, and said, why don't you produce a luncheon and help me do this big event? And I said I would, and I'll volunteer and see what's going on in my life in 2007. And so many things transpired from that. Shika actually left. Another woman came in. I ran everything on the West and East Coast, primarily events and education curriculums. I was lucky enough to look for volunteers online way back when. And one of my old employees saw that, and he said, I'll volunteer with you. He used to work, he was a big part of my ex-husband's business. And so I said, please volunteer, but I grabbed him up too. So I have Al Sofianopoulos, who's my right arm and program director, who's been with me for years and before this gig. Wow. So I'm very, we keep it familial, Anyway, I've never looked back. And I very soon took over the executive directorship. And we've grown as much as we're a tiny, lean machine, we have grown and realized that when starting out as a gynecological cancer foundation, it's not just about that. It's really about all cancers.
Right.
And our first prong of this foundation was about early detection. Let's teach all these, and I have them. I have smart executive women that don't know what to do at the doctor's office. They don't know the questions to ask for. Yeah. They also skip mammograms, and they're too busy for everything. Well, guess what? We need to make our passive patients of all kinds into more medical consumers. So know what to ask for when you go into the doctor's office, right? And that was a big, big prong and program to build. And it's kind of like a domino effect. It's, you got to
Mhm.
get the word out there. And so Fran being Fran's like, I need to use my celebrity for the greater good. I have a big voice and a big following. Social media 2007, 8, right? When we're starting was just coming up.
Mhm.
And so we did. We built educational curriculums around what to ask for at the doctor's office, the resource guides, the warning whispers, who to see, what to do. I mean, um, and we realized that not only did we surround ourselves with an amazing advisory board, but we look at cancer and dis-ease a little
Mhm.
differently.
Mhm.
We're not in the research or cure space, however we complement it, but we really look at health from the inside out. We
Right.
look at
Which
our bodies as a system.
absolutely, which
Let's
brings
get
me, yeah,
to the
that brings
cause as
right to the
opposed to
cause.
numbing the symptoms.
Which I'm such a believer, like
Of
such a
course.
believer on. I was diagnosed with breast cancer May of 2024. And as soon as AJ found out, she said, "You need to contact Susan immediately."
So I
Um,
was going to tell you, I am the
yeah,
go-to in all my
you
world.
are,
I'm the
which
go-to.
is
I'm the go-to to set you up. I'm not a doctor,
right.
but I do have a lot of connections and a lot of other work to do outside
Yes,
of your generic work that you're going to be told,
which
which
is
I believe
yeah,
in fully,
same.
but I also believe in bringing in Eastern and alternative and functional
Oh,
and integrative at the same time. And I think that that's being very woke these days. Like we're very much waking up and smelling the coffee and understanding
yeah.
that this is why we also built what's even bigger than our early detection program is our prevention
Well,
program.
that's
We're
exactly yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to go to was your prevention program because that
yeah,
is so unique.
it is
And
unique.
when I started my journey looking around and I went the holistic route too, I really wanted all kinds of opinions and I just dug deep into research on all sides. So Cancer Schmancer does take a very unique prevention first approach to women's health. What
All health,
inspired all health? All health.
not
What
just women
inspired this
anymore.
mission and how is it different than traditional cancer awareness campaigns?
Well, how's it different? Well, first of all, food is medicine. Medicine is food.
Mhm.
Um, 5 to 10% of cancer and disease is scientifically a fact that's genetic. 90% of disease and cancers is environmental lifestyle.
Mhm.
So how about looking at that? So
Yes.
that's where it really started. And so
Mm.
we look at what we're eating.
Mhm.
We're looking at what gives us inflammation and how can we keep that at a low level and how can we keep our immune system up. Those are key. Inflammation is the end form of not just cancer, but disease. And everybody's different. So finding a doctor that's going to work with you, you might be on one diet and works for you and you'll be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you got to eat kale." I
Mhm.
can't eat kale.
Mhm.
I can't eat nightshades.
Mhm.
But how do you find that out? You've got to really do your research and find doctors that are willing to work with you and that are Western doctors that also practice and come from a very functional space and an integrative space, which is all only my doctors, because we have to look at what we're doing to our bodies, right? For what are we
Absolutely.
feeding it? Um, Part of my biggest prevention program is what we call Detox Your Home. We built an amazing curriculum for children and adults, and we have this wonderful video that we like a little 22-minute docuseries on kids teaching their families how to live a healthier lifestyle. So what are we putting in, on, and around us is what we say. Check, choose, and
Absolutely.
change. What's in your house? What are you sleeping in? What's in your gardens? What are you cleaning with? What's in your car?
Well, those are
What's on your
all
makeup?
yeah, I mean, that's what I had to go through. I forced myself to really look at my environment because I was 43 years old. You looked at me, I was super healthy. I exercised all the time, ate a plant-based diet, meditated, like I was crossing off all of the boxes. Well, there's got to be more. And I remember walking into my surgeon's office the first day and he said, "You don't know how lucky you are, Stacey. You are so lucky you have all of these lifestyle practices in place. I don't have to send you to lifestyle counseling." And even though I really appreciated and I believed it and I had such a great outcome because of it, there was something there I knew I was missing. And so I did a deep dive into my environment as well. So for someone listening, Susan, what are like really easy, actionable steps to start looking at environmental toxins?
Well, first of all, you should go to my website because we have
Okay.
a whole resource guide. We have apps that you can download to tell you the
Hmm.
ingredients. Listen, if you can't pronounce ingredients, clearly you shouldn't buy it.
Right.
That's the
Right.
first thing. We've got, you should look at your toothpaste. I mean, fluoride's not good. Parabens. I mean, I raised daughters that never use deodorant with aluminum in them. Super easy things to do when it comes to your mouth because the mouth and the gut are very connected.
Absolutely.
um, Toothpaste, aluminum in your deodorants or on your body, off-gassing and flame retardants. My bedding is organic. My couches are organic. What I clean with is, we've got a whole thing on you can make your own cleaning products. I mean,
Amazing.
I've done that at some point too, but again,
Mm.
there are products and they're not that expensive. They're going down about that you can buy that are toxic free.
Right.
But you have to look at labels and look and see. And your food is a big thing.
Mhm.
Farmers markets and organic, is really the way to go. Um, Processed foods, I mean, that's a no-brainer. You should really stay away from processed foods. Again, on cancerschmancer.org, we provide that a whole resource space for people that want to know those questions and more. But that's just a
Beautiful.
start.
That's a great start, though. That's a great actionable step for all the listeners to go onto
And clean makeup for
cancerschmancer.org.
all the women that listen.
Yes, and that's
Yes,
actually
I
something that I've talked about before is my daughter is almost 12 and Sephora is
is
like
her
an
favorite.
obsession, right? And so I'm the mom. So are you familiar with the Yuka app?
Of course.
Okay, so she has the Yuka app and she has to go around and scan everything and to
Right.
see what is clean and what is not. And she finally got her friends on board with it. And she was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much, Mom, for introducing this to them. I don't feel so alone in this." And so
S
now they're all, it's like, I think it's such a great movement for these young
It
girls to be
is, and
aware.
this it is, and the more we talk about it, and you have podcasts like this, and we
Mhm.
speak all over the country now,
Yes.
Fran and I, about all of this, people are catching it, and there's a
Right.
lot of, social media out there about it as well. We also partner with EWG is a really good
Beautiful.
resource as
Yes.
well as
Hmm.
Yucca, and there's, we have quite a few more resource guides and just getting back to resource. There's also some amazing testing that's on my
Mm,
website for um, those who want to have some really proactive screenings without having, to go in and be told you need an MRI. Well, there's things that
right.
you could do and blood tests you can take and, you know, very thorough MRIs with no radiation, et cetera, et cetera. So
That's beautiful to know. All right. So everyone's got to dig through those resources, me included.
it's
That's for
very
sure.
easy.
Absolutely. So nothing can be easier. Let's talk.
Cancerschmancer.org, you'll see resources.
Yes, I love it. I want to dig a little deeper. So we talked about prevention, but also, early detection is also so incredibly important. And I know that Cancer Schmancer is very passionate about it. Can you explain what it means? Like stage one is the cure and why early detection is so critical?
Well, early detection these days have been proven to save lives. So if you're very proactive on your health, as a catch. If you're proactive on your health and get screened early and keep up with all your testings, you're going to be likely to catch it early. The uninsured and underprivileged women are um, uh, always getting caught in late stage cancers because
Right.
they don't have the means.
Right.
We do partner with some free screenings of cervical cancers and pap smears
Wow.
and breast cancer organizations on the East Coast and West Coast and in Kenya to provide that. That's why when we say when we ask for money, which isn't often, and we raise money, a lot of the money goes to the free screenings for the uninsured and
Oh,
underprivileged. But what we know is, you know, it's unfortunate, but these days, people that are young like yourself, for instance, saying, "Oh, well, I have a pain on my side, but, I work out every day. I'm sure I pulled a muscle." If it keeps
Mm.
going, perhaps it's not a muscle, which is what happened
Right.
to my fiance.
Oh,
He was a gym freak and he thought he pulled a muscle and it ends up being cancer. And it was a very, very late stage that spread. And it was a 7-month diagnosis. So what I'm saying, so my
wow.
early detection program is really, hey, listen to your body, listen to the early warning whispers, and
Right.
be proactive. As scary as it might be to you,
Right.
just do it. Listen,
Yeah.
I run this thing. I am not a cancer survivor, thank God, but everyone around me, close people, I'm just passionate about health anyway. I watched a very unhealthy mother, and my dad had it very early. And I had a best friend that died of melanoma at 41 and the fiance at 58. Like you
Oh,
just, I'm passionate. I'm not a survivor, but I definitely, we have partners. They're called Prenuvo. They're all over
very
now.
familiar. Hmm.
Okay, good. They were collaborators with me 3 years ago. They offered Fran and I both a complimentary full visit, and
Wow.
and it took me 3 years to go. So I'm just there along. We're all human.
Right. Right.
I was
Absolutely.
nervous.
Right.
I was going to go before the new year, but here fires came out, and so. But I went in March, and I went, with my head held high and positive thinking,
Yeah.
and it's a good thing, and I was very lucky, and who knew I had a kid a hernia that
Oh, that's what you
that
found
is
out
so
from.
tiny that I so, it's important to be proactive
Yes.
because you're only gonna catch, cancer early when you are.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
So
I
that's what I
truly believe you need to be a CEO of your own health. If something
no
doesn't feel
question.
right, you go and get it checked. If you don't like the answer, if the answer doesn't sit right, second opinion, third opinion. So let's talk about common warning signs. We could talk about breast cancer as well as other cancers. You're so knowledgeable with all. What are some warning signs that men or women might overlook?
Fatigue,
Mm,
muscle pain, those are 2 of the biggest things, fatigue and
okay.
muscle pain.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
yeah, fatigue
That's
and
good
muscle
to know.
pain and, lethargic,
Yes.
no appetite,
Mm.
things like that.
What
Yeah.
about for breast cancer? Because I don't think many early stages have any of those warning signs.
Actually, they do. They do. Not for again, everybody's
Everyone's
DNA is
different.
different. So I really, for breast cancer, you got to self-exam all the time. I had a
Absolutely.
scare. I had a scare because I had implants put in 2006 and I had implants out in 2020.
Mm.
Right at the COVID because I never had the downtime to get them out. Also,
Oh,
the last toxic thing I had control over.
right.
I do think that, and this is something Fran and I always say:
Mm.
women are the majority of caregivers of their family. If we get sick, it's not going to help anybody. We must be in control of our own
Yeah.
health, or we
Yeah.
ain't going to be able to. It's like in the airplanes with the seat with
Mhm.
the oxygen mask, put it on first,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
That's what I always say. But
Mhm.
for breast cancer, you must check yourself,
Yes.
especially when they say you're too young. So that
Yes.
was Fran's problem. They're like, "Oh, you're too young and you're too
Right.
thin."
Right.
But no, none of that. There are people slip through the cracks.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
want to be the one to slip through the cracks, so you want to
Mm-mm.
catch it early by a lot of self exams and keep up on your mammograms. And I mean, a lot of us didn't know back then what we know today, but I get ultrasounds
Yes.
and others along with a mammogram. I don't just do a mammogram these days. I don't trust it. They miss so much. It's been proven.
I missed it for
So that's
mine.
what I see.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd have to say about
Yeah.
warnings of breast cancer
That's
or
perfect.
really everything.
I agree with all of the above. So, health can feel very overwhelming at times, especially when you're so busy. Everyone's so busy nowadays. What do you say to someone who wants to really start making changes but doesn't know where to start? What would be like an actionable step they could start today?
I always say make a list.
Hmm.
I'm a big list girl.
I love list too.
So make a list. What is the first thing we want to do, right?
Hmm.
I like you, I've been very blessed to be my own boss. and have an amazing foundation to run, with it not being in a corporate office space
Mhm.
with a corporate ladder and, corporate people that you got to go through. So for me, the freedom of working hard and then self-caring hard. I always stress to everybody, even my daughters, 26 and 31, and my friends like an Annalisa, is that you carve out time
Yeah,
every day for yourself.
you make the time.
Everyone knows that from 8:30 to 9:30, I am not to be bothered. I am working out or meditating or taking care of me, or making the personal phone
Mm,
calls. And I try to schedule Friday late in days all my doctor appointments. I'm very up on my doctor appointments.
you're brilliant. I love this.
I mean, you have, but every day you take a moment for yourself. I'm
Absolutely.
overwhelmed today. I've got two big events coming up. I had to take a break from the computer. I went out. I happen to work from my home when I'm home, and I went, and for me, I had to water. Watering
Mhm,
I have a garden that is my baby, and watering is my zen.
mhm.
Reset a little, take a few deep breaths, come back for part two of the day.
Right.
Just gotta breathe. I'm a big breather.
Absolutely.
Lots of breath
Breathing
work. So
throughout the day.
everyone has to make lists, do a priority check, and every day do a little bit of something. I'm a big journaler too.
Mhm. That's wonderful. So let's talk about non-negotiables because you started stating some of them. So
Oh, okay.
non-negotiables, things you'll never miss on a Monday or throughout the week. Let's hear your non-negotiables, Susan.
What are my non-negotiables? There's no negotiating my regimen on my skincare
Mm,
in the mornings, and my cup of organic coffee, my New York Times puzzles for my brain health,
this is
and
great.
my workouts, and then I'm raring to go.
You
That is a
you just
daily
mentioned 3 that
must.
no one else has ever mentioned on this
Oh.
podcast. That's phenomenal. I love
And
those.
by the way, it's the only coffee I can drink. After 12 or 1, I'll be up all night.
Yes.
So so that's no, that is it. That is my morning, and everyone knows it. And I actually have had to skip a morning of my non-negotiables, and it makes me upset all day.
Yep. Totally changes the
I mean, I
mood.
have to put it on the shelf, but it
Mhm.
does affect my whole vibe.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
those are my non-negotiables for me.
Those are great
Oh,
non-negotiables. I
thank
love
you.
them. For someone that's currently going through a breast cancer journey or supporting a loved one, what is some words of encouragement or wisdom you'd love to share?
Find joy every day. Do and talk and read about all the things you still love. Don't
Mm,
make it a death sentence. Don't make it the sole purpose of living. Try to clean up what's not still cleaned up around you.
mm.
Eat what you want to eat on Saturdays and Sundays, and then detox Monday through Thursday. The joy and things to look forward to was a big mantra for me when COVID hit and then these
Mm,
fires hit,
yes.
because it affected me in a very big way, as you
Mm,
know, because I'm so close to Greg.
yeah.
So that was a real so I, you got to create joy and something to look forward to and not make it the sole purpose of your life on a daily basis. But I also say take it day by day.
Right.
That would be my wisdoms. I hope they're good.
They're beautiful. And that actually made me think about the COVID days when Greg was in the hospital fighting for his life. My first I guess, time I didn't meet her, but my first glimpse into who AJ was during that time I got all the text messages from her. I didn't know who was sending the texts at the time. I hadn't met her yet. And they were so positive in the darkest time of her life. And to talk about an example of someone that can find joy anywhere when life is so hard, it is she.
Yes,
And
which
it
is
is
why we are so
connect so
compatible.
much, and that's why I connect with her
Positive
too.
thinking and a lot of, prayer circles, it helps.
Yeah,
There's no question.
absolutely. I call them glimmers because I think in this day and age, listening to the news or what have you, it's easy to go into a really depressed state and to find glimmers opposite of triggers throughout your day. It could be, doing your crossword puzzle, having that cup of coffee, being aware of what brings you joy instead of just going through the motions is so important too.
Absolutely.
So I would love to do a rapid fire round with you
Oh,
to
okay.
have a little bit of
That
fun.
wasn't on my email. Okay.
You'll get
Oof.
this. You're going to be amazing. It's a
Okay. Oh
Cancer
my God.
Schmancer edition. Okay. So
Okay.
tell me one myth about breast cancer you wish everyone would stop believing.
Oh, but it's rapid. One myth about breast cancer that,
That's okay. You can even think about it or any
um,
cancer.
one myth. I'm going to say they're not. The myth is it's not always. It's not a death sentence. Is
Yes.
today's society.
Thank you. I love
Okay.
that. Most underrated early detection tool.
Most underrated. What are these
I'm going to
questions?
speak for you because you talked about this, and I believe the most underrated is self exam.
Okay, I was going to say that, but I'm like, I just said self-exam. Is that
No,
really
but it's
underrated?
true. I think it is.
Okay.
I
Oh,
think it is because how many women do that? They don't even think about it.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Favorite toxin free swap you swear by?
Wait. Toxic free what?
Toxin free swap. So if someone's using a makeup, for instance, that is not, that's full of toxins, what's a good swap for that?
Oh,
Or
well, I've
cleaning?
got to go to my favorite and my, but um, I, I'm a big Laura Geller fan.
Okay.
Laura Geller's a survivor herself. Laura Geller's been in the makeup industry for over 40 years. She's also an amazing collaborator because
Mm.
of our missions together and how they align. And I have it on right now, and it's super clean. They tend to lean towards a bit of a 40 plus, but
Oh,
so I definitely. I'm not just shouting out. Laura Geller's my go-to,
okay.
but I also, for the young person, my go-to would be Hourglass.
Okay. I
Do you know
haven't heard.
Hourglass makeup?
I've
Well,
heard
your
of
daughter
hourglass.
might.
Yeah, my daughter knows them all, but I'm kind of
They're
interested
in
in what you're
Sephora.
using.
They were the first. Yeah, they have
I love that.
Hourglass, but Laura Geller's my go-to
Laura
clean
Geller.
makeup.
I'm gonna check her out. I love it. Okay, last one in
And
the
by the
rapid.
way,
Yes.
you can. Okay, no, we'll
Oh,
talk
no,
after.
no, no. Go
No.
ahead.
I was going to say if you go, there's always discounts because they're partners. If you shop on
Oh,
my page, you get a discount, and
thank
I'll tell
you.
you about Pre-Nouveau after.
Then
But
I
give
will
me
do
the. Is
that.
this the last rapid
This
fire
is the
question?
last rapid fire. It's
Oh no,
easy peasy.
I'm loving it now.
It's
Let's keep
fun,
going.
isn't it? Okay, one thing you never miss on a Monday, health, habit, or mindset wise.
Never miss on a Monday. I'm at Pilates.
Pilates? Is that what you do
Mat
on Monday? Mat
Pilates.
Pilates. Oh, I love mat Pilates.
Mind, body, spirit.
Is that what it's called? Mind, body, spirit, where you take?
I take it at the Mindery
I love
in
that.
Malibu, and they're still surviving. So I'm giving all the love to our
Oh,
local stores and
oh,
shops.
that's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. Well, what's one big takeaway you hope listeners walk away after this conversation?
I hope that everyone goes to cancerschmancer.org, signs up to receive newsletters, which we don't bombard you with,
Mhm.
and it's free because we're a major resource. And we do some really incredible events,
Yes.
and you'll be the first to know. And we're a very uplifting, positive organization that deals with cancer and disease. And there's a world to learn about prevention in our video library of all our past summits with the most amazing cutting edge doctors from all over the world. So I hope people take away learning about Cancer Schmancer.
Yeah.
If they feel like making a donation, that'd be lovely. We're doing an amazing Masterclass Health Summit event in October here in Los Angeles. It will be globally live streamed. So again, cancerschmancer.org for more information about that. Um, and I hope people take away having to think about how they're going to live a little bit different lifestyle with looking at what we're doing in and around us to make it a healthier space.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Susan. I
You're very
think that
welcome. Thanks for having me on.
you've given so many amazing resources, how to get involved and access all your educational resources. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today and educate and inspire. You definitely did that for me. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much,
I
Susan.
appreciate you. It's so nice to see your beautiful face.
Likewise.
Pleasure.